Well, Bugdroid, what do you think? I think you're right. Could use a little more of a droid feel. I got just the thing. Hit me with a drum roll. Ta-da! Hello, Bugdroid world. What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Before you hit the computer and start coding, hit that subscribe button down below, leave a like if you're enjoying the content, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see coded up next. In this video, we are on Hello World Episode 1, the first episode of our Android app development journey. We are going to be creating an Android app for our Hello World website that we created, and there's a whole playlist for that. So if you missed the Hello World web development journey, go check out that playlist. It's on my YouTube channel. We are going to be basing this entire Android app off of that website, trying to make it look and feel the exact same way, but with a native app on Android. In this video, we will be setting up our GitHub repository and connecting it to Android Studio so that we have our code in a repository. As always, links are in the description below to things like the GitHub repository, the live Hello World website. We have Bubbles merch on Printify. Go check out the shop and support the channel there. Don't forget to join the Discord, join the server, join the community, and keep a lookout for the live streams on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. And with that, I will see you on the computer. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Hello World Episode 1 Android App GitHub Setup. That's right, we're creating an Android app, a native app, based on our Hello World website that we've been working on. If you guys missed the web development series, go check out that playlist on my YouTube channel. We're basically going to be making that website, helloworld.justinstolpe.com, into a native app. So the native app looks and feels the same as the website that we just built. And to begin, we're going to create a GitHub repository. Heading over to my GitHub, github.com/jstolpe, we are going to create a new repository right over here. We're gonna call this Hello World Android. Don't need a description. We're gonna make this public so everybody can see it. Just wanna have an empty repository to connect to our Android Studio. Go ahead and create a repository, and there it is, Hello World Android. Now we're gonna head over to Android Studio, File, New Project. For our new project, we wanna select a basic views activity. Click Next. App name, Hello World. Package name is our website, helloworld.justinstolpe.com. In reverse order, Java minimum SDK 31 can always be updated later in the Android manifest. I'm going to select Groovy DSL here and click Finish. And then we're going to wait for Android Studio to get our Hello World project set up for us. Configuring, building, scanning, and looks like we are set up. Over here in the left navigation, we see our app folder. We have our manifest file. We have our Java folder. Our com.justinstolpe.helloworld folder is where our main activity lives. Then we have some testing folders, which we're not worrying about right now. Then we have our res folder. You can think of this as the views folder. We have things in here like the XML for our different various view snippets. So we have our menu here. We have our layout. This is the layout for the main activity here. The actual XML for the view. We have drawables here. We can store our icons here and different assets we want to use as we build our app. The next thing I like to do is make sure the app is working correctly and we can get it to run in the emulator. I go to Tools, Device Manager, and here you see I have a few different devices created here. I am going to run it on my API 31 Pixel 2. That's the API we targeted for this application when we created the app. If you want to add a new device, you simply create a new virtual device here by clicking Add. You can select a whole bunch of different devices and configure it to exactly how you want it. Close that device manager, and up here you'll see we have our app selected and we have our device selected, so we just click play and run our app. This is the app right out of the box that Android Studio has set up for us when we created it based off of a basic activity. It's running, that's a good sign. It means our Android Studio is up and running, our device is set up correctly. And so the app right out of the box here has basic functionality, button, a little menu pop-up, a bunch of gibberish here, a little email icon. But we're gonna get rid of all this and start from scratch because we want our app to look just like our website, Hello World. Now we're gonna go ahead and get our GitHub repository connected here to our app. Down here in the bottom left, you'll see a version control. We're going to click on that. Click on Create GitHub Repository. Select directory where your new GitHub repository will be created. We're going to create it right here in Android Studio Projects Hello World. And we have a local GitHub repository set up. See over here we have local. There's our main branch. Now you should see up at the top, we have the Git option. Click on that and we're going to go to Manage Remotes. Remotes are the GitHub repositories that are currently on GitHub. Click the little plus button, and here is where we want to grab onto the URL for our Hello World Android repository, copy that and paste it right here. That's going to be our origin. We're going to click OK, and our origin has been added. Click OK again. We should be connected to our GitHub repository. Now you see we need to get these into the repository. We're going to do a git commit unversioned files. All of our files here, we want to put them onto our repository on GitHub. Say initial commit. Do a commit and push, and it should upload all of our files to GitHub. We got some warnings here. These are just warnings, and warnings don't matter, so we can go ahead and commit and push anyway. No, but seriously, we will come back to these warnings later. Commit anyway and push. Now we get our pop-up here to hello world. Push commits to hello world. Here's all of our files. Push. 56 files committed. Pushed main to new branch, origin main. Now in our project navigation, you can see all of these are not red. That means that they are in sync with our repository. If we head back over to GitHub and we refresh our Hello World Android, and there we have our initial commit. All the code is in here from Android Studio. You'll see here's our app folder. The activity that we were just looking at is in main, Hello World. There's our main activity right here, main activity that we have open. And so our Android Studio project now is connected to our Hello World Android repository that we just created on GitHub. Now what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up a little bit. We want to get rid of all this default stuff that came with this app, and we want to add a few global things just to get ourselves set up and in a good spot for starting to implement the different features that our Hello World app is going to have. First thing I'm going to do is begin by creating a new activity. Begin with a new Java class. We're going to call this base activity. Add file to Git. Yes, we're going to always want to add files to Git, so we're going to say don't ask again, add. Now all of our activities, for the most part, are going to extend our base activity. The base activity is going to hold global functionality, things that we want to be able to call from any activity we create going forward. Let's hop over to our website quick here. You can think of main activity as our home page right here. Then we're going to create an activity for login. We're going to have a login activity. And we're going to have a sign up activity. And the base activity, all of these activities will extend off base activity because we're going to have global things we want to do, like checking if the user's logged in, initializing our global loader that we're going to implement on our site because you're going to want to be able to call that from any activity. We're going to want to initialize the toolbar at the top on every activity, every page that we load. And that's global functionality that we're going to place in our base activity. Like our main activity, we have to extend the app compat activity over here. Just like that. Got the import going. And now for main activity, we can call extends base activity. Our main activity class has access to things that are in our base activity class. Over in our main activity, we're going to get rid of a lot of things here. Don't need these. We're going to get rid of all this functionality here. And I think for starters, we're just going to load up a simple homepage view. We're going to get rid of all of this here up until the super on create, which is calling our parent. And then we're going to create a function for setting up the main activity. Public void, we're not returning anything, setup activity. And there's no parameters coming into this call either. First thing we're going to do in our activity is set our view. Set content view right there, view, and we're going to reference this with our r.layout.activity main. What this is doing here is referencing the name over here in our layouts folder. Layouts folder is in the res folder here, res layout activity main. So we're going to open that up, and that's the XML for our activity. As you see, this is all the default out of the box stuff, all this gibberish here that we're just going to get rid of. I'm going to go ahead and remove everything here inside of our widget. I'm going to go ahead and add a scroll view here. Height and width of match parent. We'll give this an Android ID. Home scroll view. Inside of our scroll view, let's add a linear layout. Add on an ID here to our home page, linear layout. And we want to add on our orientation for our linear layout. Set that to vertical. Then let's just do a simple text view here, Android text, and we're going to say hello world. Now, we don't want to hard code strings in Android, so we're going to pull this string out here, hello world, into our values, strings. And you see here is where the strings are that Android Studio used for the app when it was set up. Lorem ipsum, the gibberish here, and a few other strings here that the app had upon initial setup. And we're going to add in here our hello world. Hello world. That is the key. That's how you reference the hello world. And then whatever you put in here is what will actually be displayed. So we're going to copy this hello_world. And all you have to do in Android text is call @string/hello world. Now Android Studio is happy. Let's go ahead and run our app, make sure we are on the right path here, getting no errors, and it actually is still working. And it works. Our text there, our main activity has been loaded, and we have displayed out our hello world text that we just set up in our activity XML right here. Now, how does the app know to load the main activity? Well, if we go to the Android manifest file over here, our activity is listed out right here as main activity. The intent filter here is saying intent action main intent category launcher, which means our main activity is the activity where our app will start when it's loaded. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do some cleanup here, deleting things that we don't need that just came with that basic out of the box app. We don't need this navigation. Delete there. Delete anyway. Content main, we're going to delete that. Now our navigation is clear. Menu, we're going to delete this. We're going to delete everything in here except for the activity main. Delete anyway, it's just telling us it's being used somewhere else. Here we're going to delete our first and second fragment, don't need those. We're going to delete we're actually going to delete these two folders altogether, we don't need those. Then we're going to update our drawable, our IC launcher background. Currently is just the default bug droid, but we want our IC launcher to be our little hello world icon. So I'm going to go ahead and open this, open in Explorer. Here is our file explorer on Windows of our res folder you're seeing over here in Android Studio. In our drawables folder, we're going to place our IC launcher. We're going to get that from our Hello World web app. Over in our Hello World repository, the website we've been working on, we have our app folder, assets, images. We're going to take our logo that is 100 by 100, paste that over here. We're going to name this IC launcher. That is going to be the icon for our app. Now let's check our Android manifest here. There's the IC launcher. This is red here now because we deleted this folder. That's okay, we just moved it over to our drawables folder. Drawable IC launcher. And we're going to use the same icon for our round icon. All is good. You can even see over here in the left side of the code, right by the line numbers, our IC launcher icon is displaying right there. Now we're going to run our app once again. And to make sure that our IC launcher, the app icon, is working, we're going to go to our home for the phone and drag up to view our apps. And there is our hello world. Look at that. It's using our icon. You can just drag that right there to our home screen. When we click on it, it loads up our nice blank activity with our hello world text. Now we're going to go up to our Git and do a Git commit. We have all these new files to commit. Ep.1, Android app, GitHub setup. Commit and push. Let's do a push anyway here. And away we go. Now if we refresh our GitHub page, we should see our episode 1 Android app GitHub setup. View the commit log and we have an initial commit and our episode 1 changes are now in this commit right here. We can also view Git down here, bottom left corner, Git, click on this, and we should see our commit log right here. There's our initial commit and there's our episode 1 commit. And I think that's a good place to wrap things up for our first episode of setting up our Android app in Android Studio and GitHub. We created our new repository on GitHub. We got our new project in Android Studio connected to that GitHub repository, and then we started updating our app. We set up our base activity, which most of our activities will extend off of, so we can reuse a bunch of functionality as we go. We set up our main activity to load our activity_main XML view file with our little hello world text, and then we added our hello world logo as our IC launcher so that when you see the app on the home screen of your device, you see that logo and not the default Android bug droid head. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see coded up next. I'll catch you later.